My sister stood in the kitchen, her hands gripping her coffee mug so tightly I thought it might crack. "Ruby, it's best if you stay away from my wedding," she said flatly. The words sliced through me like glass. Stay away. I was her only sibling. We'd grown up side by side, shared secrets, fought battles together. Now she wanted me gone. I laughed nervously, waiting for her to smile and admit she was joking. But her eyes were cold. "You can't meet him," she added. "It's complicated. Please, just trust me." That night, I lay awake replaying her words. My chest ached, my mind spiraled. What could she possibly be hiding? The next morning I made a choice. I would follow her. And when I finally saw his face, my heart nearly stopped. My name is Ruby, and I always thought I knew my sister Clara better than anyone. She was the wild one, the dreamer, the girl who always believed in fairy tales. I was the steady one, the listener, the protector. Growing up, I defended her from bullies, lent her clothes, covered when she snuck out late. We were opposites, but we were inseparable. So when Clara got engaged, I expected to be the first to know everything. The ring, the proposal, the man. Instead, all I got was silence. At first, I thought she was just overwhelmed. Weddings are stressful. But when weeks passed and she still wouldn't let me meet her fiancé, alarm bells rang in my head. "Clara, why can't I just come for dinner?" I'd asked one night. Her face tightened. "Ruby, please. Don't push this. It's better if you stay away." Her words stung. Stay away. From her wedding. From her life. I sat in my apartment that night, staring at an old photo of us as kids. Matching pajamas, holding hands. I whispered to the frame. "What happened to us?" I tried to reason with myself. Maybe he was shy. Maybe his family was strict. Maybe she wanted privacy. But deep down, a knot twisted in my stomach. Her eyes hadn't held joy when she spoke about him. They'd held fear. And that fear became mine. The day I decided to follow her, I felt like a criminal. I parked 2 blocks from her apartment, heart pounding, palms sweaty. When she stepped out, dressed in a pale blue coat, I ducked low behind the wheel. She walked quickly, her head down, checking her phone every few steps. I trailed her through side streets, past cafes, until she stopped outside a quiet restaurant. Then he appeared. Dark hair. A smile that didn't reach his eyes. And when he turned fully, when the light hit his face, my blood turned to ice. 'Cause I knew him. Not from Clara's stories. From mine. When I saw his face, the world seemed to tilt. My knees went weak, and I had to grip the steering wheel to steady myself. His name was Adrian Cole. 5 years ago he'd been my boyfriend, my first serious love, and my first heartbreak. We met in college. Adrian was charming, the kind of man who could talk his way out of anything. He brought flowers on Tuesdays just because, sent me long texts at midnight about his dreams. For a while I believed he was it, my forever. Until the lies began. Late-night calls he wouldn't explain. Receipts for expensive dinners I'd never been to. A girl's scarf in his car that he claimed was his sister's. I caught him cheating. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Each time he promised it was over. Each time I forgave him. Until finally I didn't. The last time I saw Adrian, I'd thrown his things onto the street while he shouted that I was overreacting. He had walked away laughing, saying I'd regret losing him. I never thought I'd see him again. And now here he was, with my sister. Clara stepped inside the restaurant with him, her hand resting gently on his arm. I felt bile rise in my throat. My sweet, naive sister was about to marry a man who had shattered me. Why hadn't she told me? Did she know what he'd done to me? Or worse, did she not care? I sat in my car watching them through the window. Adrian leaned across the table, talking animatedly. Clara smiled nervously, nodding, but her fingers twisted the napkin in her lap. Something was off. She wasn't glowing with joy like a bride-to-be. She looked trapped. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through old contacts. Against my better judgment, I still had Adrian's number saved. My thumb hovered over it, my pulse racing. What if I called? Would he answer? Would he even remember me? Put the phone down. Not yet. Instead, I decided to test Clara. That night I called her. "Hey sis," I said lightly, forcing casualness. "How was your evening?" There was a pause. Too long. Then her voice tight. "Fine." "Just fine." "Why?" "Oh, nothing. Just thought we could grab lunch tomorrow. Maybe you and Adrian could come." Silence. I could hear her breath quicken through the line. "Ruby, stop asking. Please. You don't understand. It's not what you think." Her words sent chills down my spine. "It's not what you think." Then what was it? The next day I couldn't focus on work. Every thought circled back to Clara and Adrian. I went digging. Social media, mutual friends, old classmates. Adrian's profiles had been scrubbed clean, but one photo surfaced. A corporate gala last year. Him grinning with a woman who wasn't Clara. His arm draped around her shoulders like a claim. Had Clara seen this? Did she know what kind of man she was marrying? My chest burned with urgency. I had to protect her. But how do you tell your sister her fiancé is the man who once broke you? That the man she calls her future is your worst mistake? That night, I drove back to her apartment. I wasn't going to confront her. Not yet. I just needed answers. Her blinds were open. Inside, I saw her pacing the living room, phone to her ear. I cracked the window and leaned closer. Her voice drifted out, soft but frantic. "Yes, you know. I'll handle it." "No, she doesn't know yet. She can't. If Ruby finds out." My blood ran cold. If Ruby finds out. She knew. I stumbled back into my car, my heart pounding in my ears. Clara knew who Adrian was. She knew what he had done. And she was hiding it. But why? What could possibly be worth sacrificing our bond, our family, her own happiness, just to keep him? As I drove away, one thought consumed me. I wasn't going to let her marry Adrian. Not again. Not after what he did to me. And if she wouldn't tell the truth, then I would uncover it myself. I couldn't sleep. The image of Clara pacing her apartment with Adrian's name tangled in her words kept replaying in my head. She knows. She knows who he is. And she's still with him. By sunrise, I made a decision. I wasn't waiting anymore. If Clara wouldn't tell me the truth, I'd get it straight from the source. Adrian. I still had his number saved, though I hated myself for it. My fingers shook as I typed a message. "It's Ruby. We need to talk. Alone." The reply came within minutes. Well. I wondered how long it would take. Same cafe, 8 p.m. My stomach twisted. He remembered our old meeting spot, like nothing had changed. Like the years, the betrayal, the heartbreak meant nothing to him. That evening, I walked into the dim cafe, the smell of espresso thick in the air. He was already there, leaning back in his chair like he owned the place. Time had barely touched him. Same smirk, same cold confidence. "Ruby," he drawled, standing just enough to kiss the air near my cheek. I recoiled. "Cut the act, Adrian," I snapped, sliding into the seat opposite him. "Why are you with my sister?" He chuckled, stirring his coffee lazily. "Straight to business. I always liked that about you." My skin crawled. "Answer me." For a moment his mask slipped. His smile thinned, his eyes hardened. "Because she came looking for me," he said finally. "And I saw an opportunity." My blood ran cold. "Opportunity for what?" "To build something," he said smoothly. "Clara wants stability. Can give her that. And let's be honest, Ruby. You always saw me as a mistake. But Clara, she sees me as redemption." Redemption. The word made me laugh bitterly. "You broke me. Lied to me. Cheated on me. Is that what you're offering her? Broken pieces dressed as a man?" He leaned in, his voice dropping low. "Careful, Ruby. Clara knows about us. She knows everything. And she still chose me. Ask yourself why." His words slammed into me. Clara knew. And chose him anyway. What did you tell her? I demanded. The truth, he said casually. That I messed up. That I made mistakes. And you. His eyes glittered cruel. You never forgave me. You threw me away. Clara, on the other hand, believes in second chances. She believes she can save me. Felt sick. Clara didn't just know. She thought she could fix him. Then Adrian leaned back, a smile curling on his lips. Besides, she's in too deep to walk away now. My chest tightened. What does that mean? He sipped his coffee slowly, deliberately. Let's just say, Clara owes me. Lot. Financially. Emotionally. You wouldn't understand. But I did. Adrian wasn't just charming Clara. He was trapping her. The way he had once trapped me, whispering promises while tightening the leash. Only now he had sharpened his methods. I stood abruptly, my chair scraping against the floor. If you hurt her. He cut me off with a laugh. Ruby, don't play the hero. You already failed once with me. Don't fail your sister too. His words burned as I stormed out into the night. The cool air hit my face, but I could barely breathe. Clara wasn't just blinded by love, she was ensnared. Adrian had found her soft spot, her need to believe in people, and he was using it against her. Driving home, my mind spiraled. Memories of my own time with Adrian flooded back. How he'd isolated me from friends, how he made me doubt my worth, how he'd turned every fight into my fault. Clara was walking into the same trap. But this time I wasn't going to let him win. I pulled over, gripping the steering wheel tight. One thought crystallized in my mind. Clara wasn't going to listen if I simply told her. Adrian had already poisoned the well. I would need proof. Real, undeniable proof of who Adrian truly was. And I knew exactly where to start. The next morning I woke up with Adrian's words echoing in my head. She's in too deep. I couldn't let it go. If Clara wouldn't see the truth, I'd put it in front of her. No arguments, no doubts, so I started digging. I went through my old college files, messages, even emails. Adrian had been careless back then. There were photos of him with women he swore were just friends, receipts that proved his lies. I saved them all in a folder. Then I dug deeper. Social media. Old connections. Within hours, a message pinged back from a woman named Lena. I dated Adrian too. He said he was single. He wasn't. My pulse raced. Lena lived in another city, but her story was the same as mine. The charm, the lies, the betrayal. And worse, she claimed Adrian had taken money from her. Thousands. Promising investments that vanished into thin air. My stomach knotted. Clara didn't just risk heartbreak. She risked ruin. Armed with Lena's messages, I called Clara. Can we meet? Please. It's important. Her voice was cold. If this is about Adrian, don't bother. Clara listened to me. I spoke to another woman. He's done this before. He's a liar. He's a thief. Silence. Then, you're jealous. The word stung like a slap. What? You never got over him, Clara snapped. That's why you're digging around. You don't want me to be happy because he chose me this time, not you. I froze, my throat dry. Clara, no. I'm trying to protect you. Her voice broke, sharp and defensive. Stay out of my life, Ruby. If you can't support me, don't come near my wedding. The line went dead. I sat in my kitchen, phone still pressed to my ear long after the call ended. Tears blurred my vision. I'd always been Clara's shield, her confidant. And now she saw me as the enemy. But deep down I understood. Adrian was already twisting her against me. And that only made me more determined. The next day, Lena agreed to video call me. She showed me proof, bank transfers, screenshots of Adrian's promises, even a photo of him with yet another woman while he was supposedly with her. He's a predator, Lena said firmly. He looks for women who trust too easily. And then he drains them. Her words rang in my ears as I saved everything. That night, I drove to Clara's apartment. She didn't answer my calls, so I knocked until she opened the door. Her eyes were red like she'd been crying. "What do you want, Ruby?" she whispered. Held out my phone. "The truth." I showed her Lena's messages, the bank records, the photos. One by one her face paled. But then something changed. She slammed the phone down, her eyes blazing with anger. "Stop it. Stop trying to ruin this for me." I stared stunned. "Clara, this is real. He's using you just like he used me." She shook her head violently. "No. He loves me. He told me everything about you. How you left him. How you painted him as a monster because you couldn't handle your own issues. You're twisting this because you can't stand to see me happy." Her words cut deep, but worse than the pain was the fear in her voice. She wanted to believe Adrian's lies. She was clinging to them like a lifeline. "Clara," I whispered, "please. Look at me. I would never lie to you." But she slammed the door in my face. I stood in the hallway, my chest heavy. For the first time, I realized this battle wasn't just about Adrian. It was about saving my sister from herself. And if she wouldn't take the truth from me, I'd make sure the world showed it to her. After Clara slammed the door in my face, I sat in my car gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles went white. She didn't believe me. Worse, she believed him. But I wasn't giving up. The next morning, a message popped up on my phone from an unknown number. "Stop digging, Ruby. Last warning." Froze. My chest tightened. The only person who'd call it digging was Adrian. Another message came through seconds later. "Clara belongs with me now. Keep pushing and you'll regret it." My hands shook, but beneath the fear, anger ignited. Adrian thought intimidation would scare me off. He thought I was the same girl he once manipulated. But I wasn't that girl anymore. Called Lena immediately. "He knows I've been looking into him." Her voice was calm, steady. "He's bluffing, Ruby. That's what he does. Scares you so you stay quiet." I exhaled shakily. "Clara won't listen to me. She thinks I'm jealous." Lena paused, then said, "You're not the first person he's turned families against. But maybe we can be louder than him this time." Her words sparked something inside me. I wasn't alone anymore. We spent the next few days digging deeper. Lena put me in touch with two other women, Camila and Sophie, who had almost identical stories. Charm, manipulation, betrayal, and stolen money. Camila sent me screenshots of Adrian asking her for a short-term loan to cover business deals. Sophie sent me voicemails where Adrian's voice dripped with the same smooth promises he'd once whispered to me. 3 women. 3 different cities. 1 pattern. And 1 man, my sister's fiancé. But Adrian was watching. 2 nights later, I returned home to find a letter shoved under my door. No envelope. Just 4 words scrawled across the page. "Walk away or else." My stomach lurched. Was he following me? Watching my apartment? I locked every door, closed every blind, and sat with the note on my lap. Fear prickled at the edges of my skin. But another thought overpowered it. If Adrian was this desperate to silence me, then I was closer to the truth than ever. The next morning I went to Mr. Hayes, a lawyer I knew through work. I spread out the screenshots, bank records, voicemails. His eyes widened as he skimmed the evidence. "Ruby, this isn't just emotional abuse. This could be fraud. If we collect enough, we could open a case. But the strongest testimony," he looked at me pointedly, "would come from Clara." My chest tightened. Clara was the one person I didn't have. That evening I tried once more to reach her. I stood outside her apartment, my voice breaking as I spoke through the door. "Clara, please. I know you think I'm jealous, but I'm not. I'm scared. He's done this before, over and over. I have proof. Real proof. I just need you to look at it." For a long moment, silence. Then her muffled voice. "Leave me alone, Ruby. If you love me, you'll let me live my life." The words gutted me. But I realized something then. Clara wasn't ready to be saved. Not yet. And that meant I had to keep building the case, until she couldn't deny the truth anymore. Later that night, Lena called. Her voice was low but determined. "You're not fighting him alone anymore. We'll stand with you. All of us." I closed my eyes, relief washing through me. For the first time, I felt like I wasn't screaming into the void. Adrian had taken so much from each of us. But together, we were stronger than he ever expected. And soon, Clara would see the truth. Adrian must have sensed the walls closing in, because his charm campaign suddenly exploded. Clara started posting photos, her and Adrian at dinners, him holding her hand, captions like "lucky in love." But the smiles didn't reach her eyes. I knew those eyes. Behind the staged happiness, she looked fragile, like a porcelain doll about to crack. Then one evening, Clara called me for the first time in weeks. Her voice was trembling. "Ruby, he wants to move up the wedding next month. He says it'll make everything easier." My heart dropped. "Easier for who?" She hesitated. "He says people are questioning us. That if we're married, no one can interfere." There it was. Adrian was rushing her before the truth caught up. "Clara," I said firmly, "don't sign anything. Don't put your name on a single paper." Her voice cracked. "Why, Ruby? Why can't you just trust me?" The line went dead. I knew then we were out of time. Lena, Camila, Sophie, and I met at my apartment the next day. We spread the evidence across the table. Bank transfers, texts, voicemails, photographs. "This isn't just a bad fiancé," Lena said grimly. "This is a predator. He'll bleed Clara dry like he tried with us." Camila leaned forward. "So let's expose him." The plan was simple. Adrian thrived in shadows, whispering lies where no one else could hear. But if we brought him into the light, he'd have nowhere to hide. We agreed to confront him at the engagement dinner Clara's friends were planning. He wouldn't expect all of us in the same room. That night I barely slept. My mind raced with every possible outcome. Would Clara hate me forever? Would Adrian lash out? But one thought kept me steady. I'd rather lose Clara's love trying to save her than stand by and watch her be destroyed. The night of the dinner arrived. The restaurant buzzed with chatter and clinking glasses. Clara looked beautiful but tense, her smile stiff. Adrian, of course, looked like he owned the world. When he saw me walk in, his smirk faltered. "Ruby," he drawled, masking surprise with arrogance. "Didn't know you'd be joining us." "Wouldn't miss it," I said evenly. Then one by one Lena, Camila, and Sophie entered. Adrian's jaw tightened. His eyes darted, calculating. Clara looked confused. "Ruby, what's going on?" I stood, my hands shaking but my voice steady. "Clara, meet Lena, Camila, Sophie. They all know Adrian. 'Cause he dated them, used them, stole from them." Gasps rippled across the room. Adrian shot to his feet, laughing coldly. "This is insane. These women are nobodies. Jealous exes trying to ruin me." But Lena stepped forward, holding out her phone. "Funny. Because I still have the messages where you begged me for $10,000. Camila added. "And I have the bank statements proving you never paid me back." Sophie pulled out earbuds, pressing play on a voicemail. Adrian's voice filled the room. "Come on, babe, just a little more cash. You'll get it all back once the deal clears." Clara's face drained of color. Her hands trembled as she looked from them to me. "Ruby, is this true?" she whispered. Adrian snarled. "They're lying." "She's lying. Ruby's been obsessed with me since college. Can't stand to see me happy." I locked eyes with Clara. "I don't care if you hate me for this. But I will never let you marry a man who preys on women. Look at them, Clara. Look at me. We're not making this up." For a moment the room was dead silent. Clara's breath hitched. Then she shoved back her chair, tears spilling down her cheeks. "Get out," she whispered. Adrian blinked. "What? Get out?" Her voice cracked like thunder. "You lied to me. You lied to all of us." Adrian's mask finally shattered. His smirk twisted into rage, but with the entire room staring, he had no power left. He stormed out, muttering curses under his breath. Clara collapsed into my arms, sobbing. Why didn't I see it, Ruby? Why didn't I listen? I held her tight, whispering, because he's good at this. But he's not better than the truth. The night Adrian stormed out of that restaurant, it felt like a storm had finally broken. Clara wept against my shoulder, her body trembling, her world crumbling in one violent instant. For weeks she had defended him, clung to his promises, shut me out completely. But now, with his lies spilling across the floor in the voices and evidence of 3 other women, she couldn't deny it anymore. She kept whispering the same words. How could I be so blind? The days that followed weren't easy. Clara called off the engagement immediately, but Adrian didn't disappear quietly. He sent desperate texts, then angry ones, then threats. We went to Mr. Hayes, the lawyer, with Lena, Camila, and Sophie. Together we handed over every shred of evidence. Bank records, messages, voicemails. Mr. Hayes' brow furrowed deeper with each page he read. This isn't just manipulation, he said grimly. This is fraud. He's built a pattern. And if he's pressured multiple women, we may be looking at charges. For the first time I saw Clara's expression shift, not just to grief but to anger. He's not going to do this to anyone else, she said firmly. Her voice no longer sounded like a broken woman's. It sounded like a fighter's. At home, Clara and I began mending our bond. One evening we sat on my couch, drinking tea, the silence comfortable. She reached over, squeezed my hand and whispered, I'm sorry, Ruby. Thought you were jealous. I thought you wanted to take him from me. When really, you were trying to save me. Tears filled my eyes. I would burn my own heart before letting you go through what I did. You're my sister. You're my family. I'd rather you hate me for telling the truth than love me for letting you walk into a lie. She cried again, but this time they were tears of release, not shame. News traveled fast. Adrian's name spread through whispers, then headlines. The company he claimed to work with denied him publicly. Women from other states came forward with similar stories. It turned out Adrian wasn't just a bad fiancé. He was a serial con artist, using love as bait to feed his greed. The day the police finally opened an investigation, Clara and I sat side by side in the courthouse lobby. She leaned against me, exhausted but resolute. I don't feel like a victim anymore, she murmured. I feel like I'm finally taking my life back. I smiled softly. That's the part Adrian never understood. He thought silence meant weakness. But silence can be strategy. And truth always wins louder than lies. Months later, Clara stood in her wedding dress. Not the one she'd bought for Adrian, but a new one. This time, she wasn't marrying a con man. She wasn't rushing into anyone's arms out of desperation. She was walking in her own strength, surrounded by people who loved her, at a small garden ceremony. She asked me to walk her down the aisle. When she reached the altar, she looked back at me with tears in her eyes and mouthed, "Thank you." That moment I realized. Adrian hadn't just failed to destroy Clara. He'd failed to destroy us.